Good evening. Rick here with Beat Up the Sun. In this flow, we're going to take a couple minutes and just do an evening wind down, getting us ready for bed. While normally we're talking about beating up the sun, in this case, we're going to let the sun beat us down. Here we go. Standing with your hands at prayer, inhaling through your nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, releasing your hands at your side for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hands to the sky, chin parallel to the ground, gently elevating through the scapula, standing tall, reaching a little further with your hands. And then gently we forward fold, keeping a very generous bend in the knee. Relaxing at the bottom. Inhaling, lifting halfway up. Our upper back is active, gaze is straight down at the ground below. Our neck is long. And we release back to a forward fold. Inhale, bringing the hands back to the sky. Exhale, cactus. Here we're retracting the scapula as we draw the shoulder blades together. The chest is opening, getting a little bit of expansion across the chest here. Then we'll release into a chair pose, setting the weight just a little bit more towards your heels, shoulders tilting up slightly, reaching through the arms. Drawing your hands to prayer, staying in chair, weight shifts into the left foot as the right foot slides us back, and we find a crescent lunge. We have 3 options here: hands at hips, hands at prayer, hands up to the sky. Windmilling the top hand back, we find our way to a warrior 2. In our warrior 2, we have something approximating heel to heel alignment. This front knee is approximately over the front heel. The base is active through the legs so the shoulders can be soft. Inhaling, hand opens, we reverse. Reverse warrior, getting a stretch all the way through this side. And then we come forward for our side angle. Left elbow comes to the inside of the left thigh. The right shoulder lifts. Options here: hands stay at heart. Right hand can reach up. Maybe the right hand floats forward, palm facing the ground. From here we reverse, coming big, arms wide, drawing a beautiful circle. Back to warrior 2. Backhand comes forward. We find crescent lunge. And from this crescent lunge, we're heading toward our chair. So we lean forward. We step forward nice and softly, hands to prayer. Forward fold. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, cactus. Back to chair. Take a moment to set your chair, weight back toward your heels, just slightly, shoulders lift. Then our hands come to prayer. Weight now shifts into the right foot. Once the left foot becomes light, slowly we slide it back. Crescent lunge once again, making sure that we have a nice wide base space in between the feet. Hands might be at prayer at our hips. Hands can be long overhead. Now the left hand windmills us back to our warrior 2. We're checking in with the positioning of our knee. We're finding softness through the shoulders. The gaze is through the middle finger of the front hand. And then we open the front hand as we reverse, coming into this incredible side stretch now on the right side. Heading toward our side angle. Right elbow comes to the inside of the right thigh. Hands at heart, left shoulder lifts. Once we find our side angle, once again, the left hand might extend upward. Maybe it floats forward. Releasing the arms, we circle our way back to a warrior two. Back hand comes forward, hips squaring, crescent lunge. And now a different transition here. The left knee lowers. Maybe we place a towel underneath the left knee, toe untucks, and we just take a gentle hip flexor opener here in our low lunge. And we're transitioning toward the mat. The hands come down. The hands anchor on the mat. This is the first time the hands are touching the mat. The right foot slides back. We're in our tabletop. And then the left foot comes forward to the outside of the left hand. And we lift up, low lunge, opposite side. If you're using a towel or blanket underneath the knee, you're switching that to the other knee now. And once again, we're just prioritizing this nice, gentle hip flexor, opening stretch here. And releasing, the hands coming back onto the mat. They anchor, they grip, left foot slides back. We find tabletop. And then from tabletop, we enjoy our first child's pose. One more breath here. Lifting back up to tabletop. Shoulders coming over wrists, hips are over knees. Maybe you pedal the hands just a little bit, checking in with the shoulders. And then we come toward cat and cow. Inhaling, the gaze shifts upward. Exhale, gaze shifting back toward the navel. This is our cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Heading back to tabletop. We're coming toward our puppy, so we're walking the hands out. I'm going to shift my knees back, actually. And we're stacking our hips over our knees as the hands are nicely rooted in the mat. We find length through the shoulders, and we have this really lovely deep shoulder opener in our puppy pose. Now, if you would like a little bit less, you can shift the hips back a little bit towards your heels, and that will take just a little bit of the pressure out of the hands and the shoulders, if that's what you would prefer. From here, we are going to slide forward, coming into a Sphinx pose. In our Sphinx pose, the hands are anchored in the mat, the forearms are anchored in the mat, so we're very well supported. We're relaxing through the lower back, through the upper back, and then we simply invite the heart forward. And the target here is what's called extension through the upper back, which is just this rounding through the upper back. If you feel any discomfort in the lower back, you might just come out of the pose slightly, lessening. You can also think about drawing your navel forward a little bit or wrapping your tailbone toward the mat. When you do that, that creates length through the lower back. And you might find that also comfortable. Very good. Now we are going to draw the feet forward, coming toward our seated forward fold. Setting the feet forward. Toes are actively lifting up. We sit tall. We feel slight engagement in the core. Hands lift up long. Reaching through the hands, the mind connects with the lower abdomen. We hinge forward through the hips. The core is engaged. And once we find our edge, keeping the core engaged, we relax the upper back. We relax the hands. Just releasing. Our energy is winding down. We're not pushing too hard. We're just inviting this little gentle stretch through the hamstrings before we head to bed. One more breath here. Very good. Now for a little hip opening, we draw the feet together. We're coming toward our butterfly pose. Drawing the soles of the feet together, interlacing fingers around the toes, sitting up nice and tall. You might just give little flaps of the butterfly wings. You might start to hinge forward just a little bit. But once again, we're not looking to bring too much activity into these stretches. We're just inviting soft, gentle stretches so that we're nice and loose and relaxed as we prepare for bed. Very good. Transitioning toward a deer pose, we shift the shin to the front. I have my left shin leading here. Left shin approximately parallel with the front of the mat. Left thigh approximately parallel with the side of the mat. And we have 90-degree angles approximately through the other legs. We orient the chest toward the middle of the front shin. And just slowly we're coming forward as we search for that stretch through the outside of the left thigh. Depending on how loose you are, you might come down to your elbows. Maybe you lower head to the mat. If you have a pillow here or a block, you might lift the ground up to you. Just finding whatever position allows you to relax into this stretch, prioritizing the lengthening in the outside of the left hip. Now to switch, I'm going to lean to the left, which makes room for the right leg to come forward. As the right leg comes forward, the left leg slides back. And now we set up for the same position. Coming here, right shin parallel with the front, right thigh parallel with the side. Sitting up nice and tall, orienting the chest toward the middle of this front shin. And we come forward. Now the right side could very likely feel a little different from the left. Maybe we need to be a little bit slower with the entry into it. Maybe we just find that a slight leading of the chest is all that we need to get that stretch. And we'll take one more breath here. And now we'll transition. Weight shifts to the right. Left foot then can slide forward. And we're moving toward constructive rest. Soles of the feet on the mat. Knees bent. Hands coming palm face down at our sides. We're taking a just very little bridge pose here. So Feel the hands just slightly gripping the mat. Feel the soles of your feet gripping the mat, and slowly we lift the tailbone. Maybe it's just an inch or two. Maybe it's a little bit more. If you'd like to interlace the fingers underneath the tailbone, you can. But in this bridge pose, I'm really looking more for the winding down nature of it. Lowering back to constructive rest. We'll windshield wiper the knees to the left. We'll windshield wiper the knees to the right. And then we will transition toward our final resting place of Shavasana. In Shavasana, our heels are about shoulder width apart. Toes naturally tend to fall to the outside, back of the wrist resting on the ground. We have about 12, 18 inches between our hips and our hands. Scanning the body for any skin that maybe is kind of in the way that might bug us. We kind of make a little adjustment to let that skin even out so that it won't be disrupting us during the Shavasana. And the attention now comes gently to the breath. Inhaling through the nose for 5. Exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 5. Exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 5. Exhaling for